It kind of feels like she's turning into something twisted. Have you ever seen Puella Puella Magica Madoka or whatever, Kaoru? It's kind of like the same thing. It feels like she's gonna turn into a witch. The club witch. Dun dun dun. Bodies in the something, something, something. Hello Nesties, welcome back to another episode of UsoNatsu. Last time, if we go to load, we started chapter 9, there's a door in front of us, we got a decent way into it, I believe, and Yuri saw Kaoru with Mide, and she was like, dang girl, I can't believe you'd lie, why you gotta lie like that? And they had a big fight, and they continued to have fights, and then Kaoru was like, I'm really sorry, Shiori, and Shiori was like, stop, you don't even know what you're apologizing for, so just don't apologize, fake ass. And then, Kaoru decided that she was gonna meet up with Mide once and for all. And Mide was like, listen Kaoru, you gotta do what you gotta do, but only you can decide what it is that you gotta do. And now she's back home. And she just woke up. So we stopped since we always seem to find a good place to stop the game late at night. Anyway, let's continue on. I find myself awake. It's 2 in the morning. Wow. And actually, I'm so alert that no matter how long I keep my eyes closed, I don't feel like I'll be able to fall back to sleep. Don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look! Nope, I'm doomed. I assume she's talking about her phone or maybe the alarm clock. I've heard that this is the worst time to look at your phone screen or anything else that emits light, because it'll only make it harder to sleep. But my boredom is so intolerable that I barely last 5 seconds. Being a Saturday, albeit incredibly early in the morning, I figured there must be a news feature or something interesting on social media, but there's not. Well, it's not like I follow all that many people on social media to begin with, so it makes sense no one would be posting anything right now. And now I'm even more awake than before. I really screwed up. The last thing I should have looked at in the middle of the night was my phone. Oh well, I guess I'll have to keep grinding in Grand Blue Fantasy. That'll put me to sleep. I grumble to myself as I lie there, flat on my back, reusing the same CG. I'm reminded of a particular moment in time. It was the middle of the night after I'd gone out with Shiori, the day after Sensei had dumped me. I remember I'd woken up around the same time, and how hard I'd cried, feeling completely overwhelmed by my emotions. Compared to that moment, my feelings are far less turbulent. After what happened when I saw Sensei, I feel like my heart should be breaking in two, but it's not. You gotta know yourself. You can finally figure out the answer. Feeling oddly clear-headed, I reflect back on what she told me. When I think about it, Shiori told me almost the same thing. It's almost like they're the same person. Dun dun dun! I mean, look at their hair. Look at it. They're like the same person. Dun dun dun. Mide is trying to look like Shiori. She's been exposed. You don't understand anything, Tachibana-san. I'm not angry at you in the slightest. Do you even know why you're reading these flashbacks? Which makes sense. The need to apologize comes from the desire to spend more time with the person you're apologizing to. Until now, I've never had anyone I could truly call a friend. I think my apology might have been kind of a mess. But still, I honestly want to apologize. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? No. Thanks, HP. I honestly want to apologize to her, because I want to be with her. I want to be where the Shiori is. And that's where my thoughts stop like hitting a wall. So in order to Break through that wall.
なんだろうな。私が目を背けてきたこと。
Singing, dancing. What is it I've been avoiding? Shiori Sensei, the survey. Also, hold on. I don't know if I can even change this now. No. I think my mic offset is wrong. I have a sync offset, and I was looking in DaVinci last time, and it looks like it's off. Like, there's something wrong. The delay is off. So, I probably should have done some tests before I started recording. I just really wanted to start recording this episode. Shiori Sensei, the survey, the 3 S's. I don't think any of them are truly at the root of my problem.
喉乾いたな。
I'm thirsty. I'm wide awake, and I'm not getting any sleep anytime soon. Maybe there's a kappa in my kitchen. I decided to pause my train of thought for a moment and head into the living room to get something to drink. Oh, the living room. Okay, fine. Not the kitchen. That's a seabed reference. For all of you that don't know, kappa in my kitchen. My parents should be sleeping by now, so I tried to make as little noise as possible along the way, though my efforts end up being pointless. I find my dad alone in the living room, still awake, with all of the lights on. Just as I'm about to sneak back to my room, feeling a kind of awkwardness that's hard to put into words, I suddenly realize something. I got some serious phlegm today. I don't know what's up with it. The thing I've been avoiding.
起きてたんだ。
You're awake. I take a deep breath and decide to say something to my dad. He's sipping some kind of amber-colored alcohol while looking at his laptop. It's probably Jack Daniels.
Kaoru こそどうした?
So are you. Is something wrong?
喉乾いたから飲み物取りに来ただけ。お父さんは?
Okay, no, like, this is really getting bad. I'm gonna pause the recording real quick. Alright, I'm back. Hopefully my camera is centered good again. I don't even know if it ever was centered. I was thirsty, so I came to get something to drink. Are you working?
いや、狙ってたヘッドホンのオークションがもうちょっとで終わるから落札できるか見守ってようと思ってさ。
No, the auction for a pair of headphones I've been after is almost over. So I figured I'd keep an eye on it until it's done.
何それ?
Those must be some headphones.
アパレルブランドとのコラボモデルでな。最初は買い逃しちゃったんだけど、偶然出品されてたんだよ。あ、お母さんには内緒だぞ。
They're a tie-in with a famous clothing brand. I missed out on them when they were originally released, but then I just happened to come across this listing. Oh, don't tell your mom about this. I can't help but smile in response to that. I've always seen my mom as someone who acts without much regard for others, but maybe my dad isn't that different. Come to think of it, there have been times in the past where I felt as if new audio devices had mysteriously appeared in the living room. Guess that wasn't just my imagination. I think seeing my dad like this, acting the same as always, has helped calm my racing thoughts. The thoughts that were racing into the night.
あのさ、お母さんって謝ったの?
So, did mom ever apologize? I asked nonchalantly. Man, this phlegm. If I sound kind of off today, it's because I got like some major congestion or something. I don't know what's going on, but it's like real bad.
謝った?
Apologize? Surprised for my sudden question, all I can do for a moment is repeat what I said. But then, perhaps having deciphered what I meant through some hint in my expression, he nods.
最近のカオルを見てたら、いつかあの時のことについて聞かれるんじゃないかって思ってたよ。
With how you've been acting...
ちょっと座って話そうか。
With how you've been acting recently, I had a feeling this might come up sooner or later. Have a seat and let's talk about it. My name's Tachibana Atsushi. Why don't you have a seat? Did I call him Atsuhi last time? I think I might have. Tachibana at sushi. Okay. I pour some barley tea into a glass and sit down at the kitchen table. His response isn't entirely surprising. I'm well aware of how my attitude has changed at home ever since I met Shiori. And yet, or rather, that's exactly why I can no longer lie to myself about any of this.
それで学校で何かあったのか
Now then, did something happen at school?
別にあったけど私の問題
Not really. Well, kinda. But that's my problem to deal with. My dad doesn't usually pry into my personal life. But despite having only met Shiori once, he's probably come to the conclusion that my change in attitude during finals week has something to do with her.
まあそれでお母さんが俺に謝ったかどうかって話だったな香織にとってはしんどい話になるかもしれないけど大丈夫か
You asked if your mom ever apologized to me. This might be tough to hear, especially for you, Kaoru. Are you sure you want to?
大丈夫
Yes, I can handle the truth. With that brief preamble, he returns to the topic at hand. You can't handle the truth. The incident that occurred on that fateful day. The discovery that I wasn't actually my father's child by blood, but an unintended byproduct of my mother's affair. I'm sure that my past self, the girl I was back in middle school when I originally found out, wouldn't be able to handle hearing any part of this.
そうだな結論だけ言えば謝ってない
Well, the thing is, basically she never did. What?
おっとちょっと結論を急ぎすぎたなお母さんは何度も謝ろうとしたけど俺がそうさせなかったんだだから正確に言えば謝らせなかった
Excuse me. Why his facial hair look like? Why does it look like one of the, you know, like in like the sci-fi settings, they always got like the metal jaw bracer thingamajigs, like the little like chin strap things that always come around. You know, they always got those for some reason. Why does his facial hair look like that? Wait, don't get the wrong idea. Your mom has tried to apologize many times, but I wouldn't hear it. So if we're being honest here, it's more that I never let her. I'm surprised to hear that he never let her apologize to him for what she did. It's hard for me to imagine him putting his foot down like that.
これはあくまで俺の考えだけど謝罪っていうのは自分のためにすることだ許してほしいから謝る自分の立場を守るために謝る
This is just my opinion, of course, but to me, an apology is ultimately a self-serving act. People apologize because they seek forgiveness for their actions, to protect their own status. I guess with our similar lines of thought, you could call me Tachibana Atsushiori.
仕事をするようになると損得感情で謝るかどうかを決めることも増える謝ったら相手に強気に出られる謝らないと取引を打ち切られるとかな
Whether to apologize becomes a far more calculated move once you enter the workforce. Workforce. The person who apologizes loses some degree of power, but by not apologizing, you risk cutting off a relationship. Stuff like that.
でも仮に人間が自分一人で生きていけるんだったら謝る必要なんてないだろ悪いことをしても自分のことを嫌だと思う人からは離れていけばいいんだからさ
Imagine someone capable of living entirely on their own, without needing others. They'd have no need to ever apologize for anything, right? Because even if they do something bad, they can simply walk away from anyone they've offended.
話の内容はわかる。でもそれは一般論でしょ。お父さんとお母さんはどうだったの？
I understand what you mean, but you're talking in generalities. How does all that relate to you and Mom?
ごめんごめん。
Right. Sorry about that.
いいよ別に。っていうか、早速謝ってるし。
It's fine. Huh, you were pretty quick to apologize there.
だろ？今のもそうだ。カオルの機嫌を損ねたら、今っていう娘と話す大事な機会を失うから、反射的に俺は謝った。
Right, which is a good example in itself. If I upset you, I'll miss out on this rare chance to have a heart-to-heart with you, so I reflexively apologized.
で、許してもらえた。カオルに許してもらえて、俺はほっとする。やっぱり、自分のためだろ？
And you accepted, and because you did, I feel immense relief. So I benefited from my own apology, see? I'm a little annoyed that he used me like that to prove a point, but it did help me understand a little better. I decided to nod in agreement and wait for him to continue, knowing we're nearing the point of this conversation.
謝って相手に許してもらえると、謝った方はなんとなく自分のしたことをチャラにできた気持ちになれる。すぐじゃなくても、いずれはね。
When a person apologizes and is
もう、わかるよな。
forgiven, it's almost like they've been given a free pass for whatever they did wrong. Like both parties are even, if not now, then eventually. You understand what I've said so far, right?
あの時俺は怒ったし、感情的になった。ひどいことも言った。詳細はさすがに言えないし、親として娘に見せられる姿じゃないと思う。
At the time, I was angry and emotional, and I said some terrible things because of that. I'd rather not go into detail, but it was a side of me that, as a parent, I would never have wanted you to see.
だから俺は小春に謝らせなかったんだ。つまりこの件においては小春を許さないと決めた。もちろん小春もそれで納得した。
That's why I refused to let Kaoru apologize to me. What I mean is, I decided that I wasn't able to forgive her. Not for that. And of course, she understood why. My dad says directly and firmly. Even now, after so many years have passed, I still feel afraid. I can sense those emotions that were born that day, embedded in his words. But fear isn't the only thing I feel right now.
安心した。
I'm relieved.
お父さん、いつもヘ
What?
ラヘラして
What was
たから
that?
お母さんに怒ってるとこ見たことないし。お母さんが悪いことをしたらちゃんと怒れるんだって。そういうこと。
Okay, I'm not sure what happened there, but weird. Hearing that made you feel better? I felt like you weren't taking what she did seriously. I never once saw you angry at Mom. You had every right to be furious, but you always smiled like nothing had even happened. Excuse me. I find myself hesitating to voice the question that suddenly occurs to me. But I know that if I don't ask him now, I'll never get this chance again.
でも、そんなに怒ったんだったら、どうして離婚しなかったの？
But if you were that mad at her, why didn't you get a divorce?
はっきり聞くんだな。気になるのはわかる。
That's a good question. I understand why you're curious. Oops.
カオルは本当のことを知りたいって思っているんだろうから、俺もその気持ちに応える。
I know it's important for you to find out the truth, so I'm gonna be honest with you.
離婚しなかった理由は単純な話だよ。小春のことを愛しているからだ。
The reason I never divorced your mom is simple. Because I still love her.
一度は過ちを犯したかもしれない。その怒りや後悔をお互い一生抱えることになる。けど俺にとっては裏を返せば一生一緒にいる覚悟をしたってことだ。
She made a mistake, and the anger and resentment from that won't ever go away for either of us. But I haven't forgotten that I made a vow to spend the rest of my life with her.
聞かなきゃよかった。親のそういうのはずい。
I shouldn't have asked. Hearing my dad say something like that is embarrassing. You know what the worst part about this is too? What was that? I just alt-tabbed. And I can't even press the spacebar to advance the text because spacebar hides the thing.
まあまあ、これ結構大事なことなんだ。いいか？今からいいこと言うぞ。
Come on, this is pretty important. Now, let me say something good. He looks like he's anticipating some kind of snarky response, so I wait silently instead. Finally realizing no retort is coming, he clears his throat and continues.
俺は小春の全部が好きなわけじゃない。例の件もそうだし、一生変わらない癖やだらしないところだってあるかもな。けど、それは小春から見た俺も多分同じだ。
It's true that I don't love everything about Koharu. There's the affair, of course, but also quirks and habits that I just have to put up with because I know they'll never change. I'm sure she feels the same about me.
相手のことを全肯定なんてクローン人間だってできないんじゃないか？
Because, unless you find a way to clone yourself, you'll never meet someone who's a perfect match for you, like that Justin Bieber song.
映画好きだからってそういう例えいらないから。
I know we like to watch movies together, but you can ditch the sci-fi metaphor.
ちょっとぐらいいいだろ
I just thought it was appropriate.
う。とにかくいいところも悪いところも含めて一緒にいたいとお互い思ってるから今がある。
At any rate, we're still together because we're both willing to take the good of the other person, along with the bad. After all, life is just one trade-off after the other. Something that... Life is just one trade-off? I don't know what it is. What is it? Life is just one trade-off after the other something. Cause I got older, Elma. It's been you, you know. The music I've been listening has kept me going. 2 chapters left, not only worth mentioning.
これな、恥ずかしい話、心から理解できたのはカオルが生まれた後なんだよ。
Oops, sorry about that. And well, this is a little embarrassing to say, but I didn't truly understand what that meant until after you were born. Oops. Taking the good with the bad. When he says it like that, it seems pretty obvious. But coming from him, after all he's been through, those words feel completely convincing.
だけどな、ここまで言っておいてなんだけど、今思うと小春に謝らせなかったのはもっと単純な理由だったと思うよ。
But you know, having said all that, I think the reason why I refused to let Koharu apologize back then is actually much simpler.
もっと単純？どういうこと？
It is? What do you mean? When you nod your head yes, but you...
カオルの母親に俺を父親にしてくれた人にそんなことで謝らせたくなかったのかもしれないんだよ。
A part of me didn't want your mother to apologize for making me a father.
カオルも知っている通り、俺たち夫婦には一生子供がいない人生もあり得た。もちろんそれは今とは違う幸せがあるだろう。でもな、カオルのいない人生はもう。
Did he skip? Wait, hold on. Oops, did he skip lines? I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there. Go back here.
カオルも知ってい
Rewind.
る通り、 俺は子供ができにくい体らしい。不妊治療も当時は保険が効かなくて高額だった。
I'm sure you remember Kaoru, but I have some fertility issues, and back then, treatment options were expensive, especially since they're not covered by insurance.
俺たち夫婦には一生子供がいない人生もあり得た。もちろんそれは今とは違う幸せがあるだろう。でもな、カオルのいない人生はもう考えられない。
We might have remained childless for the rest of our lives. We still would have been happy, but in very different ways. I can't even imagine what my life would be like without you in it anymore.
I lower my gaze, embarrassed. Seeing that I'm not about to interject, okay, come on, game, what is going on? Seeing that I'm not about to interject, he continues.
あの時カオルが生まれてから1年以上が経過していた。もうカオルは間違いなく俺の娘だった。その一点において血がつながっているかどうかは関係なくなっていた。
When that incident came to light, it had been over a year since you were born. I saw you as my daughter. That's something that will never change, regardless of whether we're related by blood or not.
俺はカオルの父親にしてもらうことができて幸せだ。人生においてこんなに幸せなことは他にない。
Being your father makes me incredibly happy. There's simply nothing else that can compare to it.
小春に謝らせてしまったら血がつながっていようがいまいが、カオルは俺の大事な娘だ。
Did it skip something again?
今も変わっていない。
It might have.
If I let Kaoru apologize to me, it'd almost be like denying all of that. Whether you're my biological daughter or not, you mean the world to me. That's how I felt back then, and I still feel the same today.
ま、こんなのは10年以上経っての後付けかもしれないけどな。
Though, I guess it might sound like an afterthought, considering I'm saying this 10 years later. Ha ha ha.
What was that? His final remark sounds somewhat sheepish. He can joke around all he wants, but I know his feelings haven't changed. He just wasn't able to properly verbalize them at the time. I can tell that he meant everything he said. I'm glad he told me outright that he doesn't care if I'm his biological daughter or not. In fact, those words are now firmly engraved in my memory. She will always be a memory. Stay where she belongs, in her memories. She will never be a memory. Emotionally, I'm a mess right now. In fact, the indigestible gunk of emptiness, loneliness, anger, and pity roiling inside me is so messy that the word mess feels facile.
言っとくけど結構ショックだからこの話。でも大丈夫。
I have to admit, that was a lot to take in, but I'm fine.
わかった。とにかくだな。謝って終わりにしたくなかった。その代わりに、小春も俺もカオルをちゃんと育てて愛するってことだけはぶれないように生きてきた。
Okay then. At any rate, I didn't want her to apologize and feel like the matter was settled. Instead, I wanted us to be able to raise you properly, in a way that you'd never once doubt how much we loved you.
結果で示すって言うと大げさだけどな。カオルの人生まだまだ始まったばかりだから、結果が出るのは俺が死んだ後だろう。
I'd like to say the results speak for themselves, but that's probably an exaggeration. Your life has just begun, Kaoru. I hadn't planned on showing you the results of the paternity test until after I died.
The results speak for themselves. For some reason, those words strike a chord for me. Or in me, not for her. They burrow deep into my mind, like a slab of iron sinking to the bottom of the ocean, or an iron golem sinking into the lava after falling 27 blocks. Then he continues, adding one more thing.
だからな、カオルと俺の血がつながっていないと分かった時、 春も俺も薫に謝らなかっただろ。
That's why. When you found out you weren't my biological daughter, neither I nor your mother apologized to you, right?
Right.
薫が今どう思っているかはわからない。少なくとも不幸じゃなければ嬉しいと思いはするんだが。
Excuse me.
Even now, I have no idea how any of this makes you feel. At the very least, I hope you're not miserable, but...
謝ったところで悲しいことに事実は変わらない。だから小春も俺もちゃんと親だって思ってもらえるように生きることに決めたんだよ。
Unfortunately, apologizing won't really change anything. Which is why the two of us made the decision to continue living a life where people would see us as your parents.
I see.
いつか話さなきゃいけないことだと思っていたから DNA の鑑定結果は捨てなかったんだ。
The reason why I never threw away the result of that paternity test was exactly because I knew we would have this conversation someday.
もっと絶対に見つからないところに隠すべきだったといえばそうかもしれないが、その結果今こうして薫と話せていると思えばよかったのかもしれないな。
In hindsight, I probably should have hidden it a whole lot better, but considering we can only talk like this now because you found it, I guess it all worked out in the end.
お父さんポジティブすぎ。
Don't you think you're being a little too positive? I try to let my disdain show in my... I try to let as much disdain show in my voice as possible. It's easy to say everything worked out after the fact, and somehow that's supposed to make it okay.
話してくれてありがとう。あのね、
Thanks for talking with me about it.
家出して帰ってきてからしばらくはニコニコしてるお母さんのことは嫌いで、ヘラヘラしてるお父さんのことはムカついてた。
For a while, after I ran away from home, seeing Mom acting like she did nothing wrong made me hate her more, and seeing you act the same was really annoying.
今はどっちもそうでもない。それにね、二人が自分の親じゃないと思ったことは一度もないよ。
I don't feel that anyway anymore, but also, I hope you know that I never, at any point, stop seeing either of you as my parents.
そうか。そう言ってもらえると父親冥利に尽きる。
Wow, hearing you say that makes me feel honored to be your dad.
知らないし、そういえばさ、時間、オークションの落札大丈夫なの？
Knock it off. At any rate, what time is it? How much longer until your auction ends?
ああ、すっかり忘れてた。落とし損ねたら次はいつになるか。
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, the drip.
Oh no, I completely forgot. I have no idea when I'll stumble on another pair if I missed out on this one.
His attention once again returns to his laptop. Apparently, he was successful in his acquisition of the headphones. Good for him. I'm just about to put my empty glass in the sink when he suddenly stops me.
いつかお母さんともちゃんと話すんだぞ。それでさっきと同じことを言ってやってくれ。
You really should have a proper conversation with your mom about all this someday. Tell her the same thing you told me.
頼まれなくてもするよ。私のタイミングで。
I was going to, whether or not you asked, when I'm ready. And with that, I leave the living room. I carefully walk down the hall, trying my best not to wake my mom up. As I creep down the dark corridor, I think to myself, one of the things I've been avoiding until now is the possibility that my issues would be easier to face than I thought. In fact, confronting them has left me feeling like I just walked in from a blizzard. The results speak for themselves. Those words still burn brightly deep inside me. And I've been blinded by this blindingly white transition screen. It also doesn't help that the general transition screen they use is just like a white screen with a very...
おはよう、かおちゃん。今日は眠そうだね。
That's not right. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't help that the transition screen is always like a bright white, just like plain white screen with a very like low saturation version of the UsoNatsu like logo. Why is she saying morning mom? She's the mom. She didn't even say mom. She said Kao-chan. I heard that. Whatever. I read the dialogue. I read what the text box says. The text box has words. I read them out. Doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. It be like that sometimes. Morning, mom. You still seem sleepy today.
おはよう。別にちょっと眠いだけ。
Morning. Not really. I'm only a little sleepy.
今の会話で別にっているかな？
I feel like you're contradicting yourself. Unable to go back to sleep for a while following the conversation with my dad, I ended up playing Grand Blue Fantasy on my phone until sunrise, which is why I'm only getting up just now. Though I still somehow managed to wake up before 9 a.m., probably out of habit.
あつしくんはまだ寝てるみたいだし、いつ起きるかもわからないから朝ごはん食べちゃおっか。実は中華粥セットを買ってたんだ。
Your dad's still asleep, and I have no idea when he'll be up, so why don't we go ahead and eat breakfast right now? I actually bought some Chinese-style rice porridge.
待っててくれたんだ。
You were waiting for me?
ほら、ザーサイとかエビとかトッピングがたくさんあって楽しいんだよ。
Yep. See, it comes with all kinds of extra toppings, like Szechuan pickles and shrimp. It'll be fun. Pickles for breakfast? I sit down at the kitchen table. Eating breakfast as a family in the morning, I now know what my parents went through in order to be able to take a trivial moment like this for granted. After the conversation I had last night, I know I need to talk to my mom as well, but I really don't feel like doing that right now. There was a magic in the air the night before that's disappeared in the light of day.
じゃあ作ってくるね。あつしくんのはチャーシューとネギかな。あ、私はホタテもらってもいい？
I'll whip it up for us. Excuse me. I know your dad likes char siu pork and green onions. Oh, what do you think about scallops? I always think it's funny, like, she sounds so young. She's so lively.
好きにすれば私何でもいい。
Do whatever you
お母
want.
さんもおすすめで。
I'm happy with anything. So you decide. After all, you rule.
よーし。じゃあかおちゃんの頭が良くなるようにお魚中心にしようかな。
Her name is Tachibana Kaoru. At TK. Have it your way. Okay, then I'll make sure to fill your bowl with tons of seafood to help boost that brain of yours.
試験終わってるから。
My finals are already finished. Still feeling awkward and embarrassed. Some might say I was awkbarrassed or embark embarkward. Embarkward. Awkwarist. Still feeling awkwarist. Awkwarist and embarkward. Eating breakfast. My mom ends up adding so many additional toppings that I can't see the porridge underneath, but the combination of flavors makes it pretty delicious. Then she pours me a cup of coffee after I'm done. It's far more acidic than the coffee I would usually drink with sensei, but it's good in its own way. It helps clean the teeth, shave off that enamel. You don't need it. Whiten your teeth by grinding off that enamel. I take a short break after a breakfast before getting on the Toyoko line in the direction of school. My feelings regarding my desire to apologize Shiori have changed. Specifically, what I hope to gain from doing so. I want to continue having her in my life. The clue that led me to this answer came, surprisingly, from my own dad. The results speak for themselves. I have an idea in mind, but there's something I need to do first, and that is spark Grand Percival. I have to deal with one of the things I've been going out of my way to avoid facing. Riku.
もう逃げられないよね。
What was her last name?
逃げちゃダメだよね。
So this is what I'm talking about when I'm like, I want to lower down the background music so you can actually hear what they're saying, but I don't want to make it too quiet. Like, she's going like, like, you are not Sylvester Stallone. Like, talk with your mouth open, don't mumble, speak up, let us hear you. Don't be like, I can't keep running away, or at least I shouldn't. I watched the dark, gray walls of the underground subway tunnels streaming past the window next to me, the lifeless view interrupted by the occasional brief glimpse of a colorful advertisement. I am leaning against the wall of the train, in the space between the seats and the door, as I wait for us to arrive at the station closest to my school. Subways around create a great sound. In my ocean, farewell, farewell. And you're in the fair. I don't know what he says. To my ocean fatigue, farewell. Motion fatigue, farewell. And your ear to a seashell. I don't know. It felt weird to show up at school wearing my normal clothes, so I decided to wear my uniform despite it being Sunday. She's gonna talk to Riku, whose last name I don't remember. Plus, it's technically a school rule, even if it's not enforced. Most of the kids around me are also wearing their uniforms. Everyone else is either wearing tracksuits or their club t-shirts.
さてと、水泳部はそろそろ終わるんじゃないかと思うけど。
Does this mean we're gonna get a new Riku sprite? Now then, the swim team's practice should be wrapping up around now. I came here looking for Riku and the Keyblade. This would be far easier if I could reach out to her via text message, but I have no idea what to tell her. I want to talk to her face to face, and I'm worried that if I text her first, she'll ask why I can't just tell her what I need to over Loon. Both now and when I was dealing with Sensei, modern conveniences sure can be a double-edged sword. Oh no, she's back in her uniform. Kaoru? Oh yeah, it's Inohara. How could I forget about Inohara? That's not her voice. I don't have to wait long before Riku walks out of the school's main entrance. That's basically the only way for students to leave, so the chance of my pre-planned ambush working on Riku was much higher compared to my confrontation with Sensei. I like how she calls it a confrontation. I catch a faint whiff of chlorine from Riku, who's surrounded by her friends from the swim team. She out here like Makoto Naegi.
はいこれ、リクの分。
Here Riku, this is for you.
あ、スポドリありがとう。ってそうじゃないだろう。
Thanks for the sports drink. Hey, you can't pull a fast one on me. I hand Riku a sports drink I bought before heading over here. It feels like forever since the last time I got to experience one of her over-the-top reactions.
ごめん、私ちょっとこいつと用事があるんだった。だからご飯はパス。悪い、また明日。
Sorry, I gotta deal with her, so I'll have to pass on lunch. My bad. But I'll see you tomorrow. Riku tells her teammates she won't be able to go with them in the most unnatural and awkward way possible. The other girls seem disappointed but understanding at the same time. Or maybe it's just curiosity at the anomaly of Riku having any sort of business with me to begin with.
ごめんね、いきなり来ちゃってさ。
Sorry for randomly showing up. My apology reminds me of what my dad said to me the night before, though I feel like it's justified in this situation.
気にすんなよ。だってさ、話があるんだろ。おとといあんな風だったんだから、私にもそのことだってわかる。
Don't worry about it. I mean, we should like talk, right? Especially like after what happened yesterday. Even I know that's why you're here.
うん、ありがとう。リクの言う通り、話があるんだ。
Yeah, I appreciate it. And you're right. I do need to talk to you. It's urgent.
場所は学校でいっか。日 日の午後だったら逆に人が少ねえからな。
How about we go somewhere inside the school? Since it's Sunday afternoon, it should be pretty quiet, and it's also good usage of the CGs.
そうなんだね。
Good idea. Way to think economically, Riku. As someone who isn't a member of any club, I hardly ever find myself at school on Sundays. So, well, Riku's suggestion makes a lot of sense to me. Riku gulps down half of her drink before talking again.
お腹空いてきたけど今日は食堂空いてねえんだよな。カオルもお昼まだだろ。コンビニでなんか買わねえか。
Phew, I'm feeling kinda hungry now, and the cafeteria isn't open today. You haven't eaten lunch yet, right? Wanna go make a convenience store run?
オッケー。
Sure, sounds good. I know Riku understands the talk we're about to have isn't going to be fun, but I appreciate her attempt at lightening the mood regardless. We walk to the nearby convenience store, if you can call it nearby when it's over 15 minutes each way on foot, where Riku gets a bento and 2 donuts, and I get a sandwich before returning to school. There's no George class at our school. Why is it always this, like, bright white screen? Why can't they ever transition normally?
ドーナツが五臓六腑に染み渡る
Phew, I can, like, feel the donuts filtering into my blood.
ドーナツってしみるの？それ、さっきのスポドリの時に言うべきだったんじゃ？
Can donuts do that? I feel like it might make more sense for that sports drink I gave you earlier.
な。何言ってんだ。糖質って口の中の唾液アミラーゼで分解されてブドウ糖になって体に吸収されるんだぞ。
What are you talking about? Sugar is broken down by salivary amylase in your mouth before being absorbed into your body as glucose.
わ、急に頭良くなった。っていうか、てっきり食後のデザートかと思ってた。
Wow, since when were you a science nerd? Anyway, I figured you got those donuts to eat as a dessert after the bento.
食後のはこっち。今食べたのは食前用。
This one is the dessert donut. The one I just ate was the appetizer donut.
そうなんだ。
I see. It's been a while since the last time I'd had the chance to witness Riku's donut fanaticism. After returning from our convenience store trip, we chat while eating lunch in the courtyard. It's a beautiful day and the sun is shining forth in all its glory, but the breeze keeps us from feeling uncomfortably warm.
でさ、しおりとのことだろ。
So, this is about you and Shiori, huh?
リクはしおりからどこまで聞いてるの？
Yeah. What exactly have you heard from Shiori herself?
なんも聞いてねえよ。しおりの態度見ただろ。あんな感じでカオルのことになるとスンってなって話してくれなくなるんだ。
Nothing. You've seen how she's been acting lately, right? That's how she is all the time. And if I mention you at all, she gets all mopey and won't say a thing.
まずなんであんな気まずい通り越して険悪になっちまったんだ。
First of all, can you explain why things got so awkward? Actually, like, forget awkward. Why is she out for blood? Did you scratch her back with a knife? I came into this kind of expecting that Riku might be completely in the dark. And while I don't think it's fair for her to only hear my side of the story, I don't want Riku to feel left out, so I decided to fill her in. Besides, I know Riku won't turn against Shiori regardless of what I tell her.
まずは
Okay, let me start from the beginning. I then proceed to give her a synopsis on what's happened until now. Basically, Shiori asked if I wanted to study with her last Saturday, but I'd planned on going to the art museum that day because I wanted to see Sensei, and while I was out with Sensei, we happened to run into Shiori, who was out with her father.
あとはリクの知ってる通りだよ。
You know the rest.
そっか、なるほど。なるほどな。
I see. It like all makes sense now. Clear as day. I decided it was best to be upfront about how Shiori invited me out for a study session. just the two of us. Even knowing how it might hurt Riku to hear that. I feel it's important for her to hear the entire story without leaving anything out.
なんかいろいろいろいろだな。
There's like a lot to unpack here. A whole lot.
何それ。
Such as...
いやだってさ、なんとなくわかるだろ、カオルなら。まあいいや、話してくれてありがとな。
It's just that, like, everything suddenly makes a lot more sense. And knowing you... Well, actually, never mind. Thank you for talking to me about this, though.
何があったかって話は大体わかった。私からすればさ、初めてなんだよ。しおりがあんなに怒ってるのはさ。
I have a much better idea of what happened now. This is like actually the first time I've ever seen Shiori like this. Angry, I mean.
怒ってるのかな、しおりは。私に怒ってるわけじゃないって言ったけど。
Is she though? She told me herself that she wasn't mad.
怒ってるんだよ。
Oh, she is. She was just being like mega passive aggressive. Riku says matter-of-factly before continuing.
私からするとさ、ここ最近のしおりはすごくいびつに見えるんだよ。
It kind of feels like she's turning into something twisted. Have you ever seen Puella Puella Magica Madoka or whatever, Kaoru? It's kind of like the same thing. It feels like she's gonna turn into a witch. The club witch. Dun dun dun. Bodies in the something something some.
思い出の地巡りより前のお兄さんみたいになろうと優等生を演じてるしおりと感情むき出しのしおりが2人いるっていう
Save
か、
me your spell.
そういう感じ。
Save me your spell. See, there's the Shiori she used to be before this whole like memory tour thing. The girl who tried to be a perfect student like her older brother. And then the Shiori who's in touch with her real feelings. Something like that.
要はさ、カオルと会うまでのしおりとカオルと会った後のしおりが2人ともいる感じなんだよ。
And basically, it's like there's a Shiori from before she met you, Kaoru, and then a Shiori from after. Like the BKE and like the AK. The before Kaoru era and after Kaoru.
しおりはそういう自分に戸惑って怒るしかなくなってるんだと思う。
And like, she's so thrown off by that change in herself that she's getting angry because she doesn't know how else to feel. It's sort of like she's regressing back to being a small child.
だから私はさ、カオルにカオルと会うまでのしおりのことも知ってほしいって思った。
Which is why I want you to know. I want to tell you about what Shiori was like before she met you. She pauses as she struggles to find the right words, clearly having a hard time expressing herself. And I understand why she has a somewhat pained expression on her face while speaking to me. I'm certain it's born from a similar emotion to what I felt when Sensei told me she'd fallen in love with someone else.
まずさ、カオルから見たしおりってどんなイメージだった？
For starters, what kind of person do you see Shiori as?
最初は朗らかな優等生。でもこだわりが強いかと思ったら物を選べなかったり、意外と他人を振り回すとこあったり、甘えん坊だったりって分かってきた。
At first, I thought she was a friendly and outgoing honor student, but she's also incredibly picky and indecisive with unreasonable standards when it comes to other people. She's kind of a spoiled brat, actually.
だからちょっと頑固なマイペースっていうのがしおりのイメージ。
So, my overall image of her is that she's stubborn and always has to do things her own way.
だよな。うん。カオルと出会う前のしおりはきっとカオルの最初のイメージのまんまだったと思う。
Yup, uh-huh. The way she was before she met you was definitely closer to your first impression.
それはお父さんを喜ばせるためにお兄さんみたいになろうとした結果の優等生を演じているしおり。
The Shiori who is playing the part of an honor student in order to be like her older brother and make her father happy.
喜怒哀楽はあるけど、私から見るとどこか嘘っぽい。本音から来てるんじゃなくて、感情を見せた方がいいって計算から来てるっていうか、そんな感じ。
She showed emotions, sure, but I always felt like they were basically lies. None of them were her actual feelings, just like whatever she thought was the best thing to let people see.
そういうしおりとはあんまり話したことないけど、わかる。それが私の言った最初のイメージと一致するっていうかさ。
I haven't seen that side of her so much, but I can see what you're saying. All of that matches up with my initial image of her.
ああ、そうだよな。自分の希望を言ったり、人をからかったりすることもない。話しやすくて親しみやすいけど、一定以上は誰も近づけない空気っていうか。そういう感じ。
She'd never talk about what she wanted for herself, but she wouldn't make fun of anyone else. She was friendly and easy to talk to, but like, if you got too close, she'd put up walls to keep you out. That's how I felt anyway. Personally, I don't think she acts cold or walled off. But I still understand what Riku is trying to get at. I nod silently and Riku continues.
しおりは頑張って期待されてる自分を演じてる。だから私の前でだってずっと優等生のしおりでいようとしてた。
Shiori always tried her best to live up to people's expectations. Even when it was just me and her together, she'd always keep up that perfect honor student act.
でもそれはあん時からなんだ。
But there's one reason behind all that. She quietly let those words slip out. I have a good idea of what she's referring to. And I'm sure Riku knows I know, which is why she isn't being more specific.
リクの言うあの時って中学の時のことだよね。
You mean the incident from back in middle school?
その時のことだよ。
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
しおりとリクって中学から一緒だよね。もしかして昔何かあった？
はい。
She's doing the creepy eye. I forgot she did this. She's doing this creepy eye thing that she does.
教えてほしい。私にも。勝手に話すのは抵抗あるかもしれないけど、しおり。
I'm not saying I don't want to hear more, but if you don't feel comfortable talking about this, no, Kaoru, you're gonna get the tea. This is the tea episode.
落ち着け。分かってるって。私もさ、このことを話さないといけないんだろうなって思ってたんだよ。
Calm down. It's fine. I was gonna tell you anyway, cause like, I think you need to hear it.
このことはしおりのことだけど、私のことでもあるんだ。だから私の視点からカオルに知ってほしいと思ったから話すよ。
This is about Shiori, but I'm involved too. I want you to hear it from my point of view.
ありがとう。
Excuse me.
お願い。
Okay, thanks. Excuse me. Please continue. Riku readjusts her position on the bench before continuing. You know what? I don't know if it's like the text, like the font, or if I've just never seen readjust without like a hyphen in between, but that looks really weird.
しおりと私が同じ中学なのはカオルも知ってるだろ。その時とりあえずなんかの部活に入らなくちゃいけなかったからソフトテニス部に入った。
You know, you already know Shiori and I went in middle school. We're in middle school together, right? Back then, everyone had to join some kind of after-school club, and we both ended up on the soft tennis team.
小学校の頃は水泳習ってたんだけど、なんとなく気分を変えたくてソフトテニスを選んだんだ。 そこでしおりと出会った。
Her eyes kind of remind me of Augusta's in Muwa. All the characters have very unique eyes. It's like, they're like, let's make the eyes the most detailed thing with all the characters. I had taken swimming lessons in elementary school, but I felt like trying something different, so I settled on soft tennis. That's how I met Shiori.
しおりは今と同じで優等生だった。優等生を演じてたんだけど完璧じゃなかった。私の前ではいろんな弱音とか悩みとか話してくれてたんだ。
Shiori was an honor student, even back then. Or at least, she was trying to be, but her act still needed work. Whenever she was worried or needed to complain about something, she'd talk to me.
お父さんと二人暮らしのしおりは勉強も家事もやらなくちゃいけなくていろいろ大変だった。
Since it was just her and her father, she had to take care of all the housework on top of studying. Between that and some other stuff, her life was pretty tough. I have no idea what kind of other stuff Riku might be talking about. But regardless, it's clear that Shiori's life wasn't all sunshine and roses. I remember Shiori saying that she hardly left the house before we started this whole memory tour thing.
私はしおりが本心を見せてくれるのが嬉しかったし、しおりの弱いところを守ってやりたいって思うようになった。
I was happy Shiori was sharing her true feelings with me, but also, the more I heard, the more I wanted to protect her and help her out with the things that she wasn't great at.
男子が苦手だったから必要な時は私が話に行ったし、委員会とか班のリーダーとか何でも押し付けられそうになるのを断ることもあった。
She was shy around boys, for example, so anytime she needed to talk to one, I stepped in for her. And whenever she was getting pressured into joining some committee or acting as a leader for something, I'd help her say no.
そして中学1年生の秋、順番はわかんねえけど私はもうしおりのことが好きだった。
Anyway, let's move on to fall of my first year in middle school. I don't remember exactly when or how it happened, but that's when I realized I was in love with Shiori.
性別は関係ねえけど友達としての好きじゃないってのだけは明確に自覚してた。
It didn't matter to me that we were the same gender. All I knew is that I liked her more than just a friend. I feel my heart skip a beat. I've known how Riku felt about Shiori for a while, but it's still shocking to realize she's been carrying a torch for her carrying a torch for 4 whole years. That means Riku's been in love with Shiori for a quarter of her life thus far. I know the strength of love isn't defined by how long it's lasted, but when I first fell for Sensei, Riku had already been in love with Shiori for 2 years.
しおりのことが好きだって思い始めた中学1年の秋、中間試験の後、しおりは突然部活を辞めた。中間の成績がちょっと下がったから勉強のためだって説明された。
After midterms exams finished up that year, Shiori suddenly quit the team. She said it was because her grades had been slipping and she wanted more time to study.
きっとそれは嘘じゃなかった。
I don't think that was exactly a lie, but
その時からしおりは見えるところに包帯を巻いていたり、服で見えないところにあざがある状態で学校に来る日が増えた。
around the same time, Shiori started coming to school all bandaged up, and I kept seeing new bruises under her uniform. She falls silent for a moment after saying that. I don't know what to say either. Bruises on her body? My mind reflexively jumps to its own conclusion as to what that might have been, or might mean. That Riku purposely said that kept happening clearly means this wasn't just once or twice. It can't have just been a fall or some kind of accident.
しおりは自分の怪我について語ることはなかった。そもそもしおりは巧みに隠してた。長袖の季節だっていうのも影響してたと思う。
Shiori never talked about her injuries. In fact, she tried as hard as she could to cover them up from the very beginning. It was fall and we were all wearing long sleeves, so they weren't hard to hide.
私以外に気づいていた人はいなかったと思う。生徒だけじゃなくて、先生たち、大人も含めて。
I don't think anyone else noticed but me. And I don't just mean the students, the teachers too.
私はしおりを見ていて、しおりの体に刻まれた原因は、カオルが想像している通りのものだと思った。
Seeing her like that, the only explanation I could come up with for those marks in her body was probably the same as what you're imagining.
暴力。しおりは暴力を振るわれていたんだね。
Physical abuse. Someone was hitting her.
ああ、結果的にその予想は正しかったんだけど、私がしおりの怪我に気づいた時では疑いの段階だったよ。
Yep, as it turned out, I was right. But back then, all I had were suspicions.
大きく変わったのはここからだ。
That's also when she really started to change.
この時までに私はしおりから父親と言い合いになったことがあるとか、父親が厳しいとか、そういう話を何度か聞いてた。
Until then, she was always talking about how strict her dad was and complaining about the latest fight they'd had.
私が怪我に気づく前からしおりは暴力を振るわれていたんだと思う。中学受験のために厳しく勉強させられて失敗したとも言ってたから、小学生の時もきっと。
I'm pretty sure he was abusing her even before I started noticing her injuries. She told me how she'd been forced to study for her middle school entrance exams and failed. So even back in elementary school.
だから怪我のことも父親がやったんだろうって思ってしおりを問い詰めた。でもしおりは全部否定した。
So I figured her dad was the one hurting her, and I asked Shiori about it, but she denied everything.
しおりは笑って父親とは仲がいいって言った。
In fact, she laughed and told me what a great relationship they had.
でもやっぱりその時のしおりは完璧に演じられてなかったんだ。だから私は親に相談したり、中学の先生にしおりを助けてほしいって言った。
But like I
違
said,
ったんだ。
she wasn't such a good actor back then. I was worried about her and wanted to help, so I ended up going to my parents and my middle school teacher.
それは当然の対応じゃないの。リク一人じゃどうにもできなかったんでしょ。しかもその時まだ中1。
Anyone would have done the same thing, right? It's not like you could have helped Shiori by yourself. I mean, you were still just a middle schooler. Unless this is Hoshiai no Sora. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Hoshiai no Sora. Right? Isn't that the one? Let me check. Let me double check. Let's see. Da-da-da. Da-da. Da-da. Yeah.
しおりはずっと父親をかばい続けた。うぬぼれかもしれないけど、私以外の前ではきっと完璧な優等生を演じることができたんだと思う。
Shiori kept covering for her dad. In the end, and maybe this is just my own ego talking, but I think I was the only one who was able to see through her act.
騒ぎだけが大きくなって問題は何も解決できなかった。
I ended up making a whole lot of noise and trouble without actually solving her problem.
証拠と言えるものはないけど、おそらく事件の後一時的に暴力はかなりひどくなった。
I can't prove this part, but I think the abuse got even worse for a while after that.
でも 時にはもう私は勘でしかそのことに気づけなかった。しおりはもう私の前で弱音を吐くことはなくなったから。
Back then, I had a feeling that something like that was happening, because that's when Shiori stopped coming to me to vent about her life.
その後もしおりは私の友達でいてくれたけど、私がしおりを傷つけたってことは変わらない。きっと一生消せない罪だ。
We were still friends, even after that, but that doesn't change the fact that I hurt her, and there's nothing I can do to make it right. That's where Riku ends her story, and the music. In short, Shiori was being physically abused by her father, and not only did Riku fail to help her, but she ended up making things worse. And while it's true that Riku didn't directly hurt Shiori, I know that trying to tell her that won't do any good. So all I can do is hear out her story and nod.
しおりにそんなことがあったんだね。だからずっとしおりは優等生でいようとした。
I had no idea she was dealing with something like that. So that's why her honor student image is so important to her.
そしてその理想がきっと
And why she idealizes her brother so much. It's not idolize, that's a different word. All I can do is guess here, but Shiori always talked about how she wanted to become just like her older brother, so she could make her father happy someday.
私もお父さんに喜んでほしかった。だからお兄ちゃんになりたい、なろうとしてたんです。
I never truly knew the weight of those words.
私は兄のようにならなければ生きている意味がないんです。
But now I finally understand what she meant that night. And I'm also able to understand why her need to become just like her brother was so urgent.
あんまり驚かないんだな、カオルは。やっぱりしおりのことをよくわかってくれてるんだ。
You don't seem all that surprised. I guess you do know Shiori, huh? The music has taken this odd change. They've like added this additional string, the dun 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 dun. They did this last time when they played this song, but it makes it sound a lot less sad and it makes it sound much more mysterious. It's like dun 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 dun.
驚いてる。
No.
驚いてるよ。しおりのお父さんには一回会ったことがあるけど、娘に暴力を振るうような人には見えなかった。
No, I am. I'm very surprised. I've only met Shiori's father once, but I never imagined he was the type of guy who'd beat his own daughter.
あったって言ってたな、そういえば。一応続き。本人から聞いたわけじゃないから確証はないけど、今は暴力は振るわれてないはずだ。
So you met him, huh? That reminds me. Here's something else you might want to know. I can't say for sure since Shiori won't talk to me about it, but I think the abuse has stopped for now.
私の勘っていうか、しおりを見ていてもおかしなところはないし、怪我はないし、プールにも体育にも出てる。
It's partly a hunch, but I haven't noticed anything off about Shiori's appearance lately. She stopped showing up to school with mysterious injuries, and she shows up for gym class even on days when we're in the pool.
しおりの家の近くに中学の同級生が住んでるんだけど、そいつからもしおりの家から怒鳴り声が聞こえてきたり、過剰な物音がしたりはないって聞いてる。
I'm still in touch with a middle school classmate who lives near Shiori, and they told me they haven't heard any shouting or loud noises coming from her house.
多分青波に入って以降だ。青波はここらの公立だと一番だし、しおりは青波に入ってから成績は落としてない。
I'm thinking the abuse stopped when she got into Alba High. It's the best public school in this area, and her grades have stayed pretty much the same since she started.
理屈は通ってると思う。それに暴力が続いている状態でお父さんのいない時にこっそり出かけるとは思えないし。
It kind of makes sense. Plus, I don't think she'd be sneaking around behind her father's back if he was still hitting her. I don't know much about psychology or domestic abuse, so I probably shouldn't speak carelessly or make assumptions.
それにもう一つ根拠になりそうなことを言うなら、さっきも言ったけどさ、カオルと出会ってしおりは変わったってのがある。
There's one more thing I noticed. Like I said, Shiori changed after she met you.
暴力を振るわれていた当時のしおりは今みたいには変われなかったと思う。
Back when I know she was being abused, I don't think she'd have been able to change like that.
私にはわからないけど、リクがそう言うんだったらそうだと思う。
I have no idea myself, but if that's what you think, then I'm sure you're right.
あとね、リクはあんまり驚いてないって言うけどさ、私冷静ってわけじゃないよ。
Also, you said I don't seem all that surprised by what you told me, but just so you know, it's not that I don't have any feelings about this.
ああ、大丈夫。冷静じゃないっていうのは分かってる。
Yeah, it's okay. I know this has gotta be tearing you up inside. My lips are trembling, and I can feel my fingers twitching as well. I'm filled with anger towards Shiori's father, and anger at myself for not noticing what Shiori was dealing with. I know there's nothing I can do to change the past, but that does nothing to help my emotions settle down. Riku takes a quick breath before changing the subject slightly.
ここまでの話をカオルに話す必要があると思った理由はもうわかるよな。
So, after all that, I hope you get why I feel like I felt like I needed to tell you.
リクの言いたいことは多分分かった。
Yeah, I think I get the point you were trying to make.
リクは昔に戻らないでほしいって、思い出の地巡りを始めて変わり始めたしおりのままでいいって思ってるんだね。
You don't want to turn back the clock. You're fine with the way Shiori is now, the person she's changed into since she started her memory tour. Is that about right? She nods before continuing.
今のしおりは見てて辛い。多分意図的に昔の自分みたいになろうとしてる。自分の気持ちに蓋をして自分を守ろうとしてる。
It hurts to see Shiori like this. It's like she's forcing herself to act like she used to be. She's bottling up her emotions to protect herself.
しおりは怒ってるって言っただろ。あれは自分に対して怒ってるんだよ。
When I said she was angry, the one she's angry at is herself.
自分の中で暴れてる制御できない気持ちに怒ってる。私にはそう見える。
She's angry that she's got all these emotions inside of her and she can't control them. Or at least that's what it looks like to me. She stops and takes a deep breath. It feels like whatever she's about to say next will change things, and she's mentally preparing herself for that responsibility. I take a deep breath as well, steadying myself to hear what she's going to say.
私の前じゃしおりはカオルと出会う前の自分を演じられる。でもカオルの前ではそれができない。だからあんな風に極端な拒絶しかできないんだよ。
When Shiori's with me, she pretends to be the person she was before she met you, Kaoru. But when she's with you, she can't do that. So she has to shut you out as hard as she can.
カオルじゃないとダメなんだ。私じゃしおりを変えられない。
You're the only one who can help her, Kaoru. There's nothing I can do to change her.
だから頼む。カオル。
That's why I'm asking for your help, Kaoru. Please. I could not hear her line at all. I can tell how determined Riku is. I know exactly how much it means for Riku to tell me that I'm the only one who can help Shiori, the person she loves with all her heart. And in response to her earnest request, Miss Asahi is going to interrupt us.
頼まれた。
Oh, I guess not. Okay, I'll help.
私もね、思ってたんだ。しおりに対してしなくちゃいけないのは謝ることじゃない。結果で示さなきゃいけないんだってさ。
I've been giving it a lot of thought too, and I realized the thing I need to do for her isn't apologize. I need to show her some results.
私、しおりと一緒にいたい。だから決めた。仲直りする。ちゃんと。絶対。
I want to be with Shiori, so I've made up my mind. I'll repair our friendship, no matter what it takes.
やっぱさ、カオルも変わったよな。かっけえと思うよ、正直。
You know, you've changed as well, Kadu. To be honest, you're pretty cool. You're finally starting to live up to this stereotype of the Yuri pairings.
でしょ？押せる？
Nice. Have I picked up a new fan?
残念。今ので台無しだ。
Nope, you ruined the moment. She laughs resignedly. Having stopped eating our food during that conversation, the two of us quickly turn back to our respective lunches. Just as Riku's about to start eating her dessert donut, she suddenly speaks up.
ついでに言っておく。
Actually, there's one more thing I want to say.
私はしおりが好きだよ。でも、しおりを深く傷つけた私が告白する権利なんてないと思ってた。ずっと。
I love Shiori.
でも、
I'd always figured I'd had no right to tell Shiori how I felt after what I did. Ever. But
しおりがあの時のままじゃないんだったら、私だって変わったっていいよな。うん。私が決めた。今決めたぜ。
if she's no longer the same person now as she was back then maybe it's okay for me to change my mind as well. Yup, I've decided. Just now.
カオルの受け売りだけどさ。
Now I'm just copying you. She looks me straight in the eyes. How ironic. I already made that joke last time. I can tell from her voice how serious she is.
なあ、カオル。私の予想が合ってればさ、まだ話は終わりじゃないんだろ？
Hey, Kadu, if I'm right, then this isn't over yet, huh? After all, who ends their game on chapter 9? We haven't even seen like half of the CGs yet.
うん、そうだよ。だからまだ帰るつもりはなかった。リクはさ、前に私が言ったことを覚えてるよね。
Nope, it's not. Which is why I'm not planning on heading home after this. Do you remember what I told you before?
私はまだ好きだよ、先生のこと。だからリクが心配していることは起こらないよ。
覚えてる。
I remember. Why did they zoom in on this background?
あれ、嘘になった。かもしれない。
Well, that's kind of a lie now, I guess.
はあ？なんだよそれ。いや、この流れってさ、もっとこう、はっきり言うとこだろ？
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? I'm gonna need you to tell me exactly what you're talking about.
だって本当なんだもん。
What I mean is, you were right.
私、怒っていいのか？
Am I allowed to be mad?
怒ってもいいよ。安心して。謝ったり迷ってる自分に酔ったりしないから。
You can be as mad as you want. Don't worry, nothing's going to happen until I've cleared my own head.
なんだよそれ。はあ、前言撤回しようかな。もう怒り通り越して呆れて何も言えねえよ。
What's that supposed to mean? I take back what I said before. I've gone past angry, and now I'm just done with all this.
とりあえず食後のドーナツ食べようっと。ほら、半分やるよ。
Anyway, I'm gonna eat my dessert donut. Here, you can have half.
いいの？
You sure?
いいんだよ。だってカオルはサンドイッチ食べ終わっちゃったから口が暇だろ。
Yeah, go on. I mean, you finished your sandwich, right? So your mouth needs something to keep it out of trouble. She's pogging again. She's like, thanks. After inhaling her half of the donut, she ends up buying more donuts from the pastry vending machine in the cafeteria before eating those as well. It goes without saying that Riku sharing her donut with me is her way of showing kindness. Until yesterday, I probably would have apologized to Riku. But it's okay to be a jerk sometimes. I'm not gonna lie about my feelings anymore. They haven't changed. I've tried my best to hide them, and my best sucked. Now, this is the point where if this were to be an anime or a manga series or something, this is where it would be unfortunately axed, and this would just be the end of the story, and we'd never get to see what happened.
また明日学校で。
We'd be left in this weird kind of cliffhanger type thing. Okay then, I'll see you tomorrow at school.
また明日。
Yep, see you tomorrow. After telling Riku I'm planning on sticking around the school for a little while longer, we part ways in the courtyard. We spent some time just chatting after the donuts. About our exams, food, movies, and games. Excuse me. It was a conversation with no... clear direction, but it was great to have a break from having to think about stuff.
きっとこれから何かが変わるんだよね。
Things are gonna change from here on out. The moment I find myself murmuring those words out loud, the wind picks up, ruffling my hair like I'm in a Disney movie. I'm no longer content to let myself go along with the flow. Let myself go. Let myself go. I head in the direction of my homeroom to take care of some unfinished business. The survey? Or is she gonna confess to Miss Asahi? Oh. Well. Oh!
これでよし。
The legendary CG that they keep reusing. And just like last time, I know last episode was a bit long. I actually have YouTube opened right now. Just over 2 minutes. Just over 2 minutes. That'd be a short episode. Just over 2 hours, and that was after I cut some stuff out. So I am going to make a new save. We're still in chapter 9. There's a door in front of us. Have we ever had... No, I think this is the first time we've ever saved while we've had a CG. Look at all these times where it's just been the, like, bedroom. It's always the bedroom. It's like the... Wait, hold on. Bedroom. So out of the 11, we've had 7 of them end in the bedroom. It just seems like a good place to end, you know? It's like the bed is like the reset spot. It's like her save point. It's like the safe room in the dungeon. So I'm gonna save here. We're gonna move on to the menu. I'm still not gonna look at any of that because it looks like spoilers down there. Yes, I would like to go back to the home menu. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. And that was the end of today's episode of UsoNatsu. I did want to go on a little bit further. I thought maybe we'd see some more stuff at the school. I thought about ending right when they had that transition to the plain white screen after they finished their conversation. But I kind of wanted to see what was going to happen afterwards. But then Kaoru was like, I'm going to the homeroom. The homeroom room. So I can finish my unfinished business. And I was like, okay, we'll continue on a little bit more. And then it just like fast forward cut to her in her bed. So I was like, okay, well, we're probably gonna get a flashback. She's probably gonna like reminisce on the bed as she always does, because they just love using that CG. And they'll probably have a flashback to what happened that afternoon. But I am just not here for it. We'll start off next episode with that and see what happened there. Today's episode, we kind of dropped like all of the pretenses we've had for the last couple episodes. I know we had a pretty long stretch of just a lot of nothing happening. Probably episode 4 to episode 8, it was a lot of just like chill stuff. We had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe like 4.5 solid episodes of just chill, relaxing things happening, you know, just good old fun. But like this episode, last episode was kind of dramatic, and so was episode 9, sort of. Episode 9 I feel like was some drama, and then episode 10 was a little dramatic. This got pretty heavy. You know, if you go back to... Actually, I don't even know if this happened in episode 1 or if this happened on a stream. I think it was episode 1. I actually looked at the store page of UsoNatsu, and if I'm recalling correctly, there is a thing at the bottom. Yeah. Mature content description. The game contains the following: suggestive language, okay. Depiction of a romantic relationship between a student and a teacher, yup. Partial nudity, we've not seen any partial nudity yet. Alcohol and tobacco use, we've seen that. References to physical abuse, which has happened now, but this final one, self-harm and suicide and other mature themes not suitable for all ages. So they did put in that warning there for a reason. Anyway, I will see you all next. I don't know where my camera is anymore. Is it here? I'm gonna hope it's like right here. I know it's probably not where my camera... Actually, you know what? I'm gonna look right at my camera, take a screenshot. It freezes BTS. No, it's closer. It's closer. I just looked. It's sort of... Wait, hold on. No, it's still kind of off to the side, so I think my camera is kind of centered in between my camera and my screen. I don't know why. I think it's somewhere around here. If not, and I'm just like looking off to the side for no reason, then you know what? Great job. My camera will never be centered. But thank you all for watching once again. If you liked the video, be sure to like, and if you subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps me on the channel, and make sure you hit that bell. That way you are always notified whenever videos are uploaded. And in fact, if you were subscribed with notifications on, your YouTube notifications actually would have let you know that I had a typo in last week's title for UsoNatsu, which you would not have known unless you saw the video early on and took a screenshot or had notifications on. So that's always a fun one. You'll always get to see, no matter what happens, if there's a problem with a video title, you'll know forever, and it'll stay in that notification box forever. Even if I change the video title, it'll still be there. So, with that all being said, I hope you have a great day or night, and goodbye. Visual Neon,